G'day trendsetters, how are you today? I've got a lot to unpack, or a lot to I want to share today. So I'm hoping I get it all in order, but basically today will be mainly for very beginner gardeners. I've been reading through a couple of Facebook gardening groups, and I see it, the most common mistake I seem to be making is poor soil preparation. And I've just got a couple of simple little steps that can help soil preparation if you're a beginner. First one involves radish seeds, and I've got radish down here to plant. So I've sort of got a stage 1 and a stage 2, but this is stage 1. Basically bare, barren soil. I have turned it over with a digging fork, but it hasn't got what I call guts. There's not a lot of organic material in it. It doesn't hold water very well, and if you get a bit of hot and dry weather, it dries out quite quickly, and it's quite hard to even dig with a garden trowel. To create good garden soil, you need organic matter. You can get that in 3 ways. One is through compost. 2 is through manures, animal manures. Horse and cow are best for soil, for preparing a good soil. And the 3rd one is commercial organic fertilizers like Blood and Bone, which I've got here, or the pelletized chicken manure, stuff like that. A 4th one, not a strong one, but is mulch, sugarcane mulch or lucerne or straw, stuff like that. With radish, I don't really bother with mulching because they're a small plant and the rows are tight, and it's only a small area that I'm preparing here. The other things you need is time. So with the radish, it's 28 days. So from this initial step, you've got 28 days till you get your first radish crop. In that time, with the addition of what I'm going to use here is compost and Blood and Bone, in that time the soil will amend itself and become a lot more friable and a lot more willing to hold moisture. So, and after 28 days, then you can plant your second crops, which is like stage 2. But you will repeat this step, which is Blood and Bone, compost, and I'm down in the other part, I'll be planting peas. Now peas, again, I'll prepare the soil in the same way, but after 6 or 7 weeks, when they're about half grown, you can side dress again with compost. And what you're always doing is improving the soil. Every crop, you're always adding some form of organic material, whether it be manure, compost, organic fertilizers. It's always happening. It's not a one-off thing. Soil. So if you've got a good soil, you feed the soil. You're not feeding the plants. We're actually trying to feed the soil. The richer, more nutrient-rich, biodiverse your soil is, the healthier your plants are going to be, and the more able they'll be to resist pests and diseases. There's some pests and diseases which just doesn't matter how good you are, you can't resist. But a lot of the common ones I see in these gardening groups can be overcome simply by having a really well prepared soil and a well maintained soil, if you like. I think I've covered everything there I wanted to. Healthy soil gives you healthy plants. Healthy plants give you something healthy to eat as too. So the healthier your soil is, the better the plant that you're eating is, the more nutrient and what else is there? Nutrients and vitamins and stuff you'll get from your vegetables. So it all starts here. Now I've just got a small area here. This is probably, what, half a metre? There's only 2 of us, my wife and I here now. The daughter's flown the coop, so to speak. So we don't need a lot. This little half a metre here will give us enough radish for probably a month, which includes lifting and storing, but that's more than that. So Blood and Bone, oh, look at that. I've had mice digging at the side of the bag. Little buggers. Anyway, I'll fix that. I'll put it in a plastic container. This is, they reckon, about 2 handfuls per square metre, so I'm only going to need 1 handful in here. And it's just a simple matter of sprinkling it over the top. Just a little half a handful for good luck. Compost, this is about 2 shovelfuls. Now, with compost, if you're just a beginner, you're not going to have a well organised compost system. It's taken me probably 15 years to nut out a compost system that works for me. What I do won't work for a whole lot of people. If you don't have compost, just go to your local nursery if you can and buy a bag of well-rotted manure or even a bag of compost and work that into the soil. I've just got 2 shovelfuls here that I've picked up, so I'll just that's all that is. I will work it into the soil. Not a lot. I don't like to do a lot of work with the soil, but just get it in there a little bit. Just save the worms a bit of work. That's it. Now, I'll plant my radish seeds, which I don't know where they're gone at the moment. Hang on, they're in my pocket. Yep. Oh, I've got worms here already. Oh, that's good. Sorry, guys. Get back in there. This is just the Easter egg radish mix. I've grown them before and they're quite nice. They come in all different colours. There's whites and reds and yellows and the red and white ones and the purpley ones. So I'll just plant them as per pack. I won't do that now and waste your time. Fairly close, so I'll put the rows a little bit closer than what they say on the packet, just so I can get them in there. And then after 28 days or so, we'll have what we've got down here. So we'll move down there, I'll harvest these radish, and I'll do the same thing, get ready for planting some peas. And just move down to the other section of the veggie garden where I've had these radish, and I've done the same here as what I've just done up there, which is add blood and bone and compost to the soil, grown these guys up so while they're growing, the microbes and the worms and everything are working on that compost and blood and bone, and that will help improve my soil. Radish are probably the easiest thing in the world to harvest. You just need to lift them out and the job's basically done. Now, just while I'm harvesting these, if you've enjoyed this video, I'd be grateful and love it if you subscribe to the channel to get things growing. Give us a like if it's what you think has been useful and helpful, and we can keep the whole thing going. Now I need to just pop these few little weeds out. The way I compost is basically everything goes in the compost, which usually means all manner of seeds and whatever. So I'm constantly weeding, which I don't mind because I always like my soil to be growing something, whether it's weeds or veggies or flowers or whatever. So, same again. This is only roughly a half a metre, so I might just half a handful for good luck. And again, compost. It's going to sound good in the microphone. Always mark your rows. Now, peas are planted just a little bit differently than most vegetables because it's a little bit hard there. Oh, you'll know when you've got a good soil because it just smells so rich and earthy. You know you're on your way. When these peas finish too, as a way, peas are generally nitrogen fixing. So when you harvest your peas or your peas are finished, don't pull them out of the ground. Just cut the top green part off and add your compost. Don't turn too much, just enough to fluff it in. And you plant a leafy vegetable in there after that, whether it be rocket or lettuce or anything like that, because that'll make the most use of the nitrogen that the roots are fixed into the soil. So always follow anything like beans and peas with a good leafy salady vegetable. Now I've got this board here, peas, and this is a 6-inch board. What you do with peas, make 2 little rows about 6 inches apart, and you plant either side of the bar about 2 inches apart. That's one row. If I had enough room, you'd go off about 2 foot or a bit less. What's that, 60 centimetres? Yes. And you do another row. So this is what makes one row, and that's down here on either side of this board. Now these are a little blue bantam. They're the shortest pea that I can find, and they grow 15 to 20 inches high. Great for a tight little spot that I got here. It's quite shady now, but that's a deciduous tree up there. It'll lose its leaves. Same with this bloke, and I'll prune that down, so this will be quite sunny in another couple of weeks hopefully. And the other thing with peas is you want to plant them about 1 inch deep, so just sit them on top of the soil and use generally just after your first knuckle is about 1 inch, and just poke it into your first knuckle. That's it. About 2 inches apart. I'll just bring this camera in and see if we can get nice and close on that. Sit it on top of the soil, push it in. All right, I think that's it. Like I said, I hope you found this useful. Let me know if you've got any questions. I'll also, in the comment section below, I'll leave a dot point list of steps that you need to do for what I covered today. I hope that's clear enough. It sounds all muddy in my head, but the main thing is with soil preparation is organic matter, whatever you can get. Autumn now, if you've got leaves, just grab any leaves you can find, stick them in a pile until spring. They'll have broken down, they'll be nice in the garden. Anything you can think of. Mulch, a lot of councils these days have free mulch, tree mulch. Grab that, stick it in a corner, leave it for 6 months. There's your organic matter. The only other thing with organic matter is if you want it to break down quicker, like tree mulch, then you can add your manures to the tree mulch. Keep it moist, because nothing happens without water. So pull it all apart, wet it all up and put it back into a pile. The only other thing on that is that you don't want it too wet, because if you have it too wet, you basically drown everything. So there's a little bit of art in that, but the easiest way is just to start. When it doesn't work, think about why it hasn't worked, and basically never give up. Once you've had success in the veggie garden, it can become quite addictive. Well, in my case, it is anyhow. And you just want to grow more and more and more, because you get a bit of a, well, I get a bit of a buzz out of it anyhow. Anyhow, I better end this video. I've nearly finished this row. I'll give these guys a drink with some sea salt, just to help them out a bit. I'll also need to stake these guys, which is basically just some sticks in the ground, because peas just flop over otherwise. That's about it. I'll catch you in the next video. And thanks for watching. Cheers. Always mark your rows. Because once you cover that soil over, you got no idea where they are. Alright? Come on, peas. Peas also never make it into the house here. They're eaten fresh straight off the bush. Doesn't seem to matter how many I grow.